It's asking me if I consent to being recorded. Imagine I said no. We got this. We're going to do great. It's going to be fine.
It's going to be great.
It's going to be great. Hey, everybody. I'm Mackenzie and Meaney.
And I'm Bridget Reilly. And this is Hypothetically
And welcome to Season 2.
Episode 1.
Episode 1.
We're bringing back Hypothetically for another season. Our lovely alumni, Jess and Lily, started this segment last year in March, and Mackenzie had the great idea of bringing it back again for fall sports.
Yeah, so Hypothetically is basically about how the seasons for our sports at Marist could go. We analyze the teams, take into consideration their record and their coaches, and we have some hot takes to share, which we're going to be calling Out of Left Field. As we all know, the MAC announced on July 27th that there would be no fall sports competitions. We have no word yet on the winter or the spring seasons, so as far as we know that these seasons still plan on being played, unless we hear otherwise. Today, though, we're going to start Season 2 by breaking down the fall sports and how their seasons could have gone if they had gotten to play. So, Bridget, who's first?
Today, we are doing all things women's soccer. So we're going to be covering the new recruits, current players, season outcome, and of course, the good coach drama that is Marist women's soccer. So, Mackenzie, yes, the tea. Who do we have this coming season coming in?
Yeah, so the women's soccer team loaded up with recruits this offseason. 9 freshmen are listed on the roster and 1 transfer from the University of Hartford. 6 of those freshmen play forward or midfield, which leads me to believe that they were looking to load up offensively. And this makes a lot of sense. If you look at their record last season, there are a lot of games where they either won by 1 or 2 goals or they lost by 1 or 2 goals. Loading up offensively will not only make sure they keep their leads as large as possible, but it also gives them the opportunities to come back and win games. On the back end, they scored 3 defenders and 1 goalie, but the Marist's team already has 9 people who play defense, and they already have 2 goalies, so these late numbers also make a lot of sense. In the long run, though, I think that having this big group bench is always better than having a small one. Now they have 35 people on the team. So who do we have returning this year, Bridget?
We have a few strong forwards returning this season. First, we have junior Victoria Kolosti. And last season, she led the team with 7 goals and a shots on goal percentage of .544. Now, the last time I watched or played soccer was Pee Wee soccer, and I definitely don't have my stat sheet from then. So this was a learning experience for me. So shots on goal does mean shots on target. So junior forwards Kaylin Spearley and Kristen Perosto also have a shots on goal percentage that is also high. These women are picky about when they shoot, and when they do, they are on target, which is super important. There are several midfielders and defenders that also have a high shots on goal percentage, such as junior Reilly Abate and senior Katie Samaro, because they have taken very few shots, but they have been super on target. None of these did turn into goals, however, but they could have been potential scores this season. On the defensive end, the starting goalkeeper, junior Natalie Kelchner, was set to play. Last season, she had a terrific season of 14 goals were scored on her with a goals against average of 1.1, and this is per 90 minutes. She has a total saves of 82, and for the season, she has a save percentage of .854. So I think it's definitely safe to say that she has quite the impressive resume and would have had a great season this fall. Mackenzie, what are the big takeaways here?
Yeah, Bridget, I think you absolutely nailed it. Kelchner is the obvious choice to start. She makes those big stops and she helps them stay in these games late. But Marist is very solid with their goalies all around. Senior Abby Renaud started 7 games last season, and she's always ready to go off the bench. But I think it's really important that we emphasize that Kelchner is only a junior. She has another year to play, granted that they do get to play next season. But she's got this whole season to work with her team and work with the coach and practice with them. So if she's ready to go next season, she's going to be the obvious choice to start.
That's definitely true. Like Mackenzie mentioned, it's also important to note that this team does have 35 players. So this may be something to consider. Most athletic teams do have a big team because it's good to have a variety of options and to be super flexible. But this may diminish with the current conditions. Like some players may opt out out of fear of not seeing playing time, because if these fall teams get the extra year of eligibility, that would definitely take a toll on some of these players. I guess only time will tell for things like this, as well as the head coach situation. Mackenzie, what is going on?
It's always a mess with these coaches. Marist announced that Brittany Quamel would be their new head coach over the summer to take over after Lee Howard abruptly left. And she's got quite the resume. A 4-year starter at UConn, she played professionally in the NWSL and the WPS. Not to mention that she was drafted 6th overall in the NWSL. Como has played for the U.S. Women's National Team, and she was an alternate for the squad that went to the World Cup in 2011. And that's just her playing resume. As a coach, she coached for Quick Strike FC, which has developed multiple professional players, some of whom got to play in the 2019 FIFA Women's World Cup. Now, she sounds great and all, but we need to remember that there is a women's soccer coaching curse. Bridget, why don't you tell us all about it?
Well, for years, the women's soccer coach position has been a revolving door for sure. So for 5 seasons from 2011 to 2015 was Catherine Lynn, who led the team to their first MAC championship win and several successful seasons. But towards the end of her career, they took a deep nosedive into a losing record. And then in 2016, Leanne Benson came in to coach for only 1 season and held the team to an average record of 0.525 overall winning percentage. From 2017 to 2019, Lee Howard came in and was leading the team with the 2nd seed in the MAC tournament in 2018 and had a conference record of 7-1. She left at the end of last season abruptly to go get the head coach position at the University of Albany. So this is a lot for these girls. So now we have Quamel, who we've heard from a source that she is pregnant. And if there's a chance of this season continuing in the spring, she may not be available. And as of right now, there's no assistant coach. So how many coaches is too many coaches at the end of the day?
Well, clearly 4 coaches is not enough, and we might see one more if Quamel has to sit out the season of the spring if they play.
I really hope that is not the case, but if it is, you'll see it on our website. Check out our website and also follow our Twitter because we'll definitely have that news for you.
Oh, yeah.
I'm praying that definitely doesn't happen for these girls, though, because they've really been through the ringer with all this change going on. With that, how do you see the possible season in the spring going? What do you think the outcome would be?
Yeah, like we were just talking about, I really hope that Quamel doesn't have to leave either. She sounds like the best coach that they've had in most recent years. But you also kind of touched on it. The best way that I can think to sum up their last few seasons would just be average. Average, though, is what gets them into the MAC tournament. So if they were to play this season, I would have expected the same exact thing. But unfortunately for them, that means a first round or a quarterfinal or a semifinal exit. But I think that this team has one of the brightest futures out of all the teams that we're going to be covering. Because of all the talent that they have brought in. I think that part of their problem, and this is a hot take, was that they were not a second half team. They would lose games late and they would give up cheap goals. The first game that comes to mind when I think about that was their last game last season against Quinnipiac. By the start of the second half, they're up 1-0 and then they lost 3-2. I think Quamel is a really qualified coach who can help them stay in those games late and help them to be successful. But next season is definitely going to be one to watch because now they have a full year to learn how to play with each other and to work with their new coach. And I think they're going to be a real threat to the MAC tournament in a few seasons, so long as they keep their coach for more than 3 seasons. What about you, Bridget?
Yes,
what do you think?
Fingers crossed. I completely agree with you. This, I believe, is definitely a learning and adjustment year for this team. It's just seeing how the new coach blends with them, and these girls also blend with the new class as well. This team is loaded up offensively with the incoming class, and the rest of the team is very well rounded. So I think with this extra time, the team has more of a chance to really click with one another and really make an impact in their season, as well as definitely upcoming seasons as they get to learn each other more. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's it for the new season of Hypothetically. It's episode 1. We did it.
Woo!
Next week, we're going to be talking about men's soccer. So be on the lookout for that episode. We're going to probably try to upload once a week, keep it consistent. But yes, we're going to do men's soccer next week. So be on the lookout.
Stay tuned.
Yes.
Thanks for tuning in.